Yo, I saw a lot of people not playing TBC Classic Hunter properly, and so I decided to make a quick guide. But first, let me tell you, I've been maining Hunter ever since 16th of May 2002, and made my first Hunter on 4:20 PM that day, and I never ever played any other class than Hunter since. So one could say I am an expert. This guide will be split into 3 sections. First Addons, then character, and lastly playstyle and mindset. I would like to start with an add-ons because I think they are literally the most important thing for any hunter ever. And the most important add-on is Z-Peril. Not because we need to see the exact amount of health, but because we need to see these sick 3D portraits so we can appreciate our drip, plus some extra point for these sexy limit bars. Weapon swing timer is next, so we can deactivate it. Up next we get Bagnon, so we can easily appreciate our shiny loot without sorting through the bags. And some kind of busy and away add-on to help with ignoring people. And then of course we need some auction house add-on like Trade Skill Master or something like that, so we can sell everything we stop I mean acquired easily. Nobody likes to get carpal tunnel syndrome from all that clicking. Now that we covered all the add-ons, let's move to our character. First we need to pick the race and side. I recommend Alliance because it's great at losing battlegrounds, and if you ever decide to get into PvP, the best way to get started quickly is to go into any battleground and stay AFK here, in order to rake as much effortless honor on losses as possible. With Alliance, you got few choices. Night Elves, who get the most drip, and that's what we want. Dwarves, who can track treasures, that's also very useful, and Draenei's, who are useless. So pick your favorite Night Elf, extra points for female character, and now we need to reach level 70. Best way to do that is to get into some active guild and ask for free boosts. Once we done that, we can continue on our journey. Some people might say that the most important part of any character in World of Warcraft is talents builds and gear setup. I disagree. I think the most vital part of any hunter is his pet. And for that reason, you should get Stalker. Stalker is the perfect pet for any occasion. Why? Because it's the most swaggiest pet out there. Ravager is cool at all, but can he teleport? Heh, that's what I thought. Cat sounds great, but does it look like this? Yeah, exactly. Raptor, don't even bother. You might argue that Bird or Wolf might get some great abilities for raiding, but can they do this? Of course they can't. When we are talking about pets, there is one really important thing though. Whenever there is discussion about hunters' pets, you have to recommend Ravager, or should say Ravager sucks, and recommend literally anything else. Preferably Stalker, of course. And don't even bother thinking about it. Just pick your side and make sure to never ever change it, and never bother to make any research whatsoever if it's actually correct. And when anyone in the chat asks you why, just ignore it and pretend you didn't notice it. Remember, we got add-on for that. Or alternatively, you can say all the guides are saying that, and you don't even have to back it up with some link or something. But if they still wanna see the guide, then send them link to this video. Up next, let's talk about talents quickly. I'm pretty much sure you already heard about best builds, like this one or maybe this one. Let me tell you, both of them are wrong. And you should be going with survival, because drops are OP. Now, you got 2 options here. First, you might try to experiment and create something new, but that means you would actually have to understand the class, and we don't want that. So naturally, the best way to go about it is to go online and get the first build you can find and go with it, and you are good to go. Just make sure to not think about it that much. And now, a really important point here, gear. Some players say that agility is the most important stat. Some other people say that going for attack power or crit is the best way to go. But we, you and I, know they are both wrong. Stat doesn't matter. All we want is the sweet drip. So anything that looks cool, goes. Is it white item level 50? Doesn't matter if it looks sick. When it comes to the weapons, well, the same logic. You have to pick your style and go with it. Make sure to match your ranged weapon, style and color scheme with your outfit, and you are good to go. Also use the cheapest ammo you can get, as it saves you money. One small tip, never take spare weapon with you to dungeons and raids. If your ranged weapon breaks, your party might give you some grey or white ranged weapon as a replacement, and you can sell it later on for profit. But if you for some reason decided to take some spare ranged weapon with you, make sure it's not taking the same type of ammo as your main ranged weapon. We don't wanna spend extra money on ammo, and this way you can claim you just run out of ammo because other members ain't doing enough damage. So it's their fault after all. For melee though, don't even think about two-handed weapons. Why? Because glowing dagger and one-handed axe is the best combo and looks cool as hell. Sure, it might be a little bit edgy, but who cares if you got so much drip that you are literally drowning in it. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. Get the biggest bags you can. This is the most essential part of your equipment, and make sure to get rid of the pouch or quiver. Fit one more bag instead. This has great synergy because you will be shooting slower, meaning you will consume less ammo, meaning you have to pay less for ammo. So you need to get these bags somewhere, and that is for free from Guild Vault. Of course, if none is available, then just ask someone in the guild to make them for, yeah, free of charge. You won't ask for money or mats from guildies, right? And before we continue, Professions. The best combo for any hunter is enchanting and mining or herbalism. Why? Because, well, these make the most money, and that's exactly what we wanna do as a hunter. Also, enchanting really have the best synergy with hunters, and I will get to that shortly. But now that we have our character kitted up, let's talk about our playstyle and the mindset one must have. And let's start with our rotation. There is none, and if someone tells you there is, then he's lying, don't trust him. Just mash the following spells whenever they are on cooldown. Arcane Shot, Multi-Shot, and of course, Distracting Shot. Don't even think about stings or anything else. In theory, you would get rid of it, but having as many abilities and stuff on our bars makes your screenshot looks extra cool, and that means more drip. Also, it looks like you know what you are doing, so make sure to put all your abilities here and never ever touch them. Just one important thing, use Distracting Shot ASAP and never ever think about misdirection. And don't use multi-shot unless there are some unengaged enemies around, as that way you can get the most bang for your buck, as you will damage multiple enemies for the price of one arrow or bullet. Also make sure to move all the time, we don't want to waste ammunition with auto attack, that would be pricey and inefficient. For pet spells, make sure to have Growl active on autocast all the time, especially in dungeons and raids. And never ever turn your pet on passive. It should be on defensive all the time, ideally though on aggressive. Now that we covered all the offensive spells and attacks, let's talk about aspects. The best aspect, of course, is aspect of the pack. You should have that active all the time, especially in combat. You need to be faster in combat and your group as well. After all, if you are fast enough, enemies won't be able to hit you. Let me also recommend one more thing. Never ever, under any circumstances, you should put single talent into improved hunter's mark, because you are not gonna be using it. But if you ever find yourself in a group with another hunter, make sure to check his talents, and if he does have point in improved hunter's marks, make sure to override his mark with yours as soon as he puts it on any target. This way you are marking the potential loot as yours, so be consistent. And now for the controls. Make sure to not use keyboard at all for anything else besides walking and targeting. You should be walking with W, S, A and D and targeting with tab key, and casting attacks with your mouse. This way you are making sure you can be as mobile as possible while keeping your mouse free to be used for fast attacks. And now we are approaching the best aspect of a hunter. You can equip almost any item in the game. So naturally you can say it's an upgrade for you and need it instead of greed it in dungeons and raids. Need everything. And when you win it, make sure to disenchant it as soon as you get it. Don't even wait for the dungeon or raid to end, don't even wait for the encounter to end. Other players are stupid and won't even notice, especially if you are doing it mid-fight. The only real issue are other hunters, but we do have our hunter's mark for that, so make sure to assert dominance. And now you might be asking why not wait for the end of the dungeon or raid to get away with it. Well, your inventory is gonna get clogged up quickly with all the loot you're gonna get. So disenchanting it for materials is the most efficient way to do it. Also the issue is that by this logic you can't need maces, wands and plate armor. But there is a secret. Nothing is stopping you from needing it anyway. And the best way about it is you can still try to claim it as an upgrade, because not many people know what hunters can and cannot equip. But if someone asks any questions, you can just ignore them. That's what the busy and away add-on is for. Also don't bother asking anyone if they have mining or herb, just harvest the resources first and be done with it. And there is one last small tip. Get Omen or any other threat management add-on. Not so you can manage your threat or anything, but so you can blame the tank in the case of a wipe. After all, you had the add-on and you saw that the tank couldn't hold the aggro, right? But you won't always be in dungeons and raids, so you might want to farm resources in the wild. But you are a hunter, and that means you can use your pet to keep the mobs away from herbs and veins, so you can mine them. Alternatively, you can just steal them from people that are so stupid they are not playing hunter and need to kill the monsters first. You might also try to farm motes or other materials, and hunters are also perfect for that, especially when there is a lot of other people around. Just make sure to land one hit on the enemy and leave the rest of the work on the other players, they won't even notice. So, in the end, you should be pretty much drowning in a drip and a lot of money you made by selling all kinds of materials, be it from disenchanting all the items or harvesting, and consequently selling it all on auction house. Also make sure to always undercut by at least few silvers, but ideally few golds. Undercutting by white copper is for losers, and we are not losers, we are hunters. And there you have it, my complete guide to TBC Classic Hunter. And if someone, by any chance, haven't understood it, this is supposed to be a joke about all the not only hunter stereotypes. Thank you very much for watching, see you next time.